Ba 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 ba. Babelito. Babelito's late for STER recording. Babelito. Yep. He's always late for the recordings. Babelito thinks that he isn't boring, but really he got me snoring.
Babelito.
Suavecito.
Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase su voluntad aquí en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en tentación y líbranos de todo mal. Amén.
Amen. Babelito and Favy Fav on STER on the road.
Hi.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I know you guys travel a long time from LA to Las Vegas. I'm tired as well, so.
No, thank you for coming all the way to Las Vegas and being here in our beautiful city. In this
Yes.
nice vintage house that we're hanging out in today.
Yeah. So we just came from Podcasterio Fest. Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
It was everything and more. Podcasterio Fest. It's kind of like our dreams come true because we always strive to create brown spaces for brown people. And that's exactly what it was. And we got 17 podcasts together thanks to Molcajete Dominguero and Luis and Pamela from Café con Pam and Luz from Let There Be Luz podcast. And I was just overwhelmed with love. Like when the first panel started, like I had to excuse myself because I felt like I was gonna lose it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was incredible. The first night we got there, we went to that dinner at La Carmencita, and I saw like 7 other podcasts together. My heart was about to explode. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack because it was just amazing to see everybody in person, you know. And then at Podcasterio, like it was so cool just to see in the matter of maybe 1 or 2 years, all these podcasts that I've been listening to just like come together and, you know, be unified. And it's part of a movement and we're part of that history. I never thought it would happen this fast.
And we keep saying we gotta be loud. Bish, we were loud and we were heard, and it's gonna get louder and louder, and that makes me so happy.
And this Podcasterio Fest was arranged really quick, like 4 or 5 weeks. Imagine next year we're actually gonna have time to plan it
And funding? Ooh,
and funded.
forget it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we did this with a little bit of our money. Like we just
Yeah.
put it together ourselves.
You guys are going to be look back and you can say you're the OGs of Podcasterio Fest.
Oh
That's
my God,
right.
I already feel
Yeah.
like an OG.
You mentioned the dinner when you first arrived into LA. Did you have like a fangirl moment when you saw all the podcasts coming in? Because you guys listened to quite a few of the ones that were there that time, right?
My biggest like podcast crush is Radio Menea, and as soon as I see them, I'm just like, oh my God. But it's so cool to see them. But then also I've been listening to Viva La Round Girls a lot.
Yes, that's one for me too.
So when I saw them in person, I couldn't believe it. And then, oh my gosh, who else was there? Somos Padres was there. And Cerebronas. I never met Luz Warrior. So that was incredible. And I've seen these people online for years, you know? So yeah, it was definitely a weird moment.
For me was Cabronas y Chingonas. I've been obsessing over their podcast.
Dude, I didn't know I was gonna think I was gonna like them that much because you know what they in their pictures they kind of look like they're kind of standoffish. Like one of them looks kind of hard, one's kind of shy, and so it's kind of
They're
hard to
super
figure
shy,
out.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to figure out how they're gonna be in person. How was it meeting them?
I just love them. I love them from before, and they were so sweet and just everything that I expected from them. And I fell in love with Maite. Like, I think we're going to get married. And Eva and everybody from the Colores Radio.
Okay.
Colores.
Excuse me. I'm going to announce this right now.
Oh,
Eva and I are in love.
She is fucking awesome.
We had a Lady in the Tramp moment with a taco.
Oh.
We had a
while other panels were happening.
Rude.
Okay,
Sucia.
please don't judge me. We're just trying to enjoy our life. And then we had a concha moment. And then, after we saw the Selena sign and danced, it was just...
We danced, we cumbia around the Selena star.
I saw that you guys posted a story about it. I didn't know that I was going to have such a connection to all the Texas podcasts that were there.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, those are just the ones that I just gravitated to, and we just like, it was like instant chemistry for me. And so I don't know if that's because we're all from Texas and there's like a similar upbringing, but it was really awesome like getting to see these people in LA, which is weird because we live in the same state.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Radio Manea, that was like the one you were looking to meet. What is it about them that you are just so obsessed about?
I am so attracted to their confidence, and they're just so cool because they don't give a shit about what anybody thinks about them, and they are just doing what they love. They love music. They have their separate lives, and they come together for the love of music and, supporting other Latinx podcasts, supporting Latinx artists, musicians. So
they're so easy to get along with as well.
And they're just so nice.
Yeah, they're so cool.
There's no front, and they're so, you can just tell they're so caring because of that.
Yeah.
If they don't like you,
Yeah.
If they do like you,
Did you listen to their panel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How was it?
The one that you were on?
Oh, is that the one?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
We heard it.
Yeah, we heard it. We heard you too, especially.
How was it though? The panel, seeing them talk about getting hate on from the social media and different questions that we're getting from them. How was that, listening to that?
It was kind of eye-opening, because I never thought about girls getting hate just because they're women, but it makes total sense.
It's part of our privilege not to know that.
It's part of our privilege.
Yeah.
So that was really eye-opening. And that's what I loved about the panels at Podcasterio is it was men to women ratio. It was the opposite of what you usually see.
Yes.
So most of the panels was all women except for like one dude, right?
That was my panel.
I put together the panels and I was like,
I was going to call you out on that. I was like, how the hell are you going to put one gay guy on a queer panel?
Why not?
We were the token.
I was like, really, dude?
But that's what Latinx podcasts are all about. Reversing the narrative. And we did it. I mean, the fact that we just continue to talk about being brown, Spanglish, and Latino and women, that was the recurring theme of that whole thing. Just with that, we flipped the script.
Because every time you talk about gay issues, it's automatically gay white male issues.
Yeah.
But LGBTQAI, WXYZ, that shit is 50-50, or whatever, 50... There's not a binary, right? But anyways, yeah. So I really like that part of the panels.
Me too. It made it. I don't know. It made me feel empowered, and it connected to our event that we had, our series of events that we had in Wellesley College, which is an all girls college, and we had a room full of like 70 women just like listening to us, and we felt more comfortable than ever. The whole thing just ran so smoothly because we were safe. This was a space meant for them, and we were welcome in the most beautiful way. So
you guys have been traveling, speaking a lot, and then even with the Podcasterio event, you guys were one of the founders, right? You helped organize this event. What did you guys learn through the speaking and creating an event? There's something that you didn't know that you had to something. Why am I having a tough time with this question? You guys are making me a little. No, you guys are making me a little nervous.
Oh,
yeah, honestly, because this is the first time I'm meeting you guys both together and actually speaking to you like one-on-one, like just having a conversation. Because we're just like having fun throughout the whole weekend. And so I listened to your podcast, and you guys are so like intelligent and well-spoken and funny. So I'm like, damn it, what if I have a boring ass fucking podcast?
No.
Well, okay. Did you learn anything from organizing the event or from these speaking events that you guys have had?
Yeah, I had no idea how much our podcast was needed. I just don't mean Latinos Who Lunch, but all of us, because we don't think about it. This is just our lives, and all of a sudden we get booked for things that I never imagined we're gonna get booked, and people thank us for our podcast and our voices, and that to me is mind blowing because this is just I'm having a conversation with my best friend, right? So it's making me realize that the work that we're doing with Podcasterio and that we're going to continue to do, because now it's a network, it's so necessary, because this shouldn't be like if you go to college 4 years and you got one speaker that make you feel like that, you should feel like that every fucking day. And hopefully we're pushing that. So at least with the medium of podcast.
Can you, before Favy answers this question, can you elaborate a little bit more on the podcast network? Because you guys announced it on the last day, on the last panel, that you guys were turning Podcasterio Fest into a network. What does that mean?
We're trying to gather a number of podcasts together into our own network so we can start matching them with advertisers, maybe matching them with public speaking events, and making a whole connection with the audiences that for us is hard when we're completely independent, because many times they don't want to pay us. Many times they pay us a little bit and we have to pay from our pockets. Like, we always are spending money. So I think this is an opportunity to hopefully push the podcasters to become professional podcasters.
Besides kind of pairing them up with advertisers, will you guys be helping like training on how to podcast, giving them tips on how to handle social media and things like in that nature?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that we talked about is, as Latino, cultural bearers, producers, what do they call them? Influencers. A lot of times we get undersold or not offered as much money because, we haven't been in the game or whatever, and we don't have the resources. And so, for example, me with my art, they always offer you the lowest amount. And I never thought to like, hey, maybe I should ask for more. That's not enough money. I always just say yes. And that's our mentality, right? Like, oh, $200? Yeah, I'll do it. Like to spend a whole week doing something, that's fine. It's worth it, but it's not. And that's what we want to do. We want to open up communication and be like, yo, you get this many listeners and they're only giving you that much money for that ad? That's fucked up. This is the industry standard. You should be getting paid this, because all the time, they're not giving us what we deserve, right? On the, compared to white podcasts, this equal pay thing goes across every single medium. So doing that, just communicating that, having an open conversation about that with everybody on the network and being very transparent, I think is important. Having an open dialogue, and then also creating opportunities like workshops and lectures and, maybe conferences, I think is definitely on our agenda.
Will you guys be encouraging kind of podcasts to reach out to you, or will you handpick the podcast you want in part of the network?
No, I think we're still working the details, but we're encouraging everybody to apply.
We want Podcasterio Network to be inclusive.
Yeah.
So let's say next year there's Podcasterio Fest. We're not going to be like, actually, you're not part of the network, you can't be part of the festival.
No.
We want Podcasterio Network to be inclusive of everything and other networks like STER Online, right? So
that was one of my questions, because the one thing I was worried about is my branding. Is that going to be affected if I were to join another network? Because I have a specific branding that I like, and if Podcasterio has a totally different aesthetic than I do. And so if I were to be part of the Podcasterio network, how would that affect my branding or other people who are wanting to join the network?
I mean, it can work. We still need to work these details out, so I might be just talking out of my ass, but I see it being almost like as an agency. So we can be your manager and your agent, or just your agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't have to play both roles. And I think that it's going to vary depending, because of course it's all about hashtag support Latinx podcasts, hashtag support brown podcasts. So we're here to support everyone. We're not here to push anybody out.
That hashtag support brown podcast started with you guys, right?
It started with Favy, yes.
Yeah. How is that? Like, how's that grown? What have you seen happen with that hashtag?
It's taken off. And we notice other podcasts that haven't even opened dialogue with us started using it, and like big podcasts too. So it's a thing now. It's definitely a thing, yeah.
So, Favy, have you learned anything throughout the speaking and this event, like kind of preparing for it?
Well, what's been really cool is, Babelito and I are really good friends, and we do the podcast. We got that down, but doing the podcast together at Wellesley, doing Podcasterio Fest, for me, it's interesting learning like what our strengths and our weaknesses are. Right? Like, I have a really bad memory. I ramble a lot, and I know that I need to work on that. Babelito, maybe he at Wellesley, it was incredible watching Babelito work his magic, because that's his lane, right? Like, a university, like, he knows how to lecture. He knows how to captivate an audience in that realm. And I'm just like, hi, I'm
A ver, captivate me right now.
and I'm like,
Después de que
hi.
terminemos.
You know, I'm more of a clown, you know. I like to I always try to be funny just because that's my instinct when I'm feeling nervous or, you know, insecure about something. That's like how I handle stuff. So it's just been cool to see how we work together and how we're gonna adjust, you know, for the future based on these last couple of months of doing events like this.
I feel like your podcast has blown up fairly big very quickly. And so with that happening, that means a lot of people are listening to your podcast, and probably some of them are seeing your person. Is it weird having these people knowing your life and talking to you about your like cousin or different stories y'all tell, and you don't even know them?
No, I mean, it weirds me out when people say I'm fangirling or like.
It weirds me out when people look at me, and like I could tell they listen to the podcast, but they don't come up to you because they're nervous that that we're not gonna be mean.
Well,
that we're gonna be mean or something.
They approach you like they know you, and I like gravitate towards them. I just like hug them.
Most of the people,
and I'm like, do I know these people? Or not?
Yeah. Most of the people just look at you and they light up, and so you say, and so at Podcasterio Fest, for example, they would look at me and light up, and I'd say, hi, I'm Favy, and then they'd say, oh, I know, and we love your podcast, and I'd give them a hug, you know, but. So then I'd be like, so what's your name? And they're just like, you know, they don't know what to say. But I love it. I mean, it's a very intimate medium, right? So they know everything about us. So when I meet them, it's just instinct to be friendly and to give them a hug or give them a handshake and them tell you about their life and their mom and this. You know, it's just been a really cool experience.
Have you gotten any play from it? You know how like drag queens, whenever they blow up, they get like those people that want to like hook up with them just because like they're on Drag Race or something. Have you gotten something like that because you're Latinos Who Lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's definitely helping.
That's like
wait, you're married though, right?
That's my only game.
I'm divorced.
Shut the fuck up. When did that happen?
A couple months ago. We don't have to get into it.
Okay, yeah, we don't have to.
It's fresh.
But I mean, the podcast is helping with the transition.
My condolences, because with you got married, so sorry to hear that. I hate when people say sorry, but I don't know what else to say to someone who gets divorced other than sorry.
Well, it's like it's painful, you know.
Yeah.
Like leaving a relationship you got to kind of mourn that phase of your life.
I guess that Latino trade helps then, right? So I remember you saying, Favy, that you were going to die in Las Vegas. This was your home. Your family was here. But after speaking and going to Ireland and like, what was it, Boston and now LA and different places, is that still true for you? Do you still think you're going to be here in Las Vegas forever?
Yeah, I love Vegas. Yes, this is always going to be my home base.
What is it about that you love about it? Because I come here, this is my third time here, and I'm like, I don't really like Vegas.
I mean, because you haven't seen Latinos Who Lunches Vegas.
Oh shit!
That's
okay.
It's my home. I mean, all my family's here, and it's just for me. I just have so many resources here. It's so easy. Like, look, we're hanging out in this beautiful house. Like, my rent is like nothing. And my, like it's. If I had the same rent in Los Angeles, I would consider moving there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to rent a house for less than $500 a month. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're paying here? Like $500 a month for a house?
Less.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm going to move here then.
Between 3 roommates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay,
it's not just my share. Yeah.
Okay. Because my friend is living in San Francisco, and that's where I kind of want to go. And he was telling me with 3 roommates, he's paying like $700. So I was like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not
bad.
Yeah.
Especially there.
Oh yeah, but it's cheap over here.
It's way cheaper.
Plus, I don't want to be. I mean,
so you're gonna stay here forever too?
I don't know, because
his ass is already.
LA is becoming my second home.
She's gone already.
Yeah. But I remember feeling like this as a kid. It has nothing to do with not liking Las Vegas.
But you've never been. You're not from here. I mean, you've lived here a long time, but I feel like I was born here.
That's actually one of my questions that I was going to ask is, I know, Babelito, that you have lived in quite a few places. And so one of my questions is which part of the world do you think impacted you the most for like who you are now? The person I see in front of me, who impacted that the most?
I think it's Juarez. I think it's Juarez and Albuquerque. Albuquerque because it woke the fuck out of me because I went to grad school. It was 4 years of painful awakening. It was horrible, but it shaped me. It shaped who I am right now. And my identity is rooted in the border. My identity is rooted in Juarez. I still think that I'm going to move back at some point in my life. There's no place that I feel more comfortable than I feel in Juarez. And I say Juarez as an area, the border as an area, and not necessarily Mexico. Because I go to central Mexico and I love all my friends and I love everything I do over there, but it's not home. I don't feel comfortable. And it's not my home. So it's about that. And my family's there and just like la comida, todo.
How old were you whenever you would go over there and have the weekends and get wasted and you would take off of school? How old were you when you would do that?
In Juarez?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up there, but then we moved to El Paso. So, girl.
What kind of, because you were talking about you would literally come back all like messed up, and I was like, what kind of trouble was he getting himself into?
I started to party when I was like 11, 12.
Oh my God.
I used to go to the bars and they used to kick me out, and I used to fight with the bouncers, and I was fucking 13 years old.
No wonder.
So by the time we moved to Vegas, I'm like, this shit is lame. So I started concentrating in school. So my like, yeah, teenager, I was a little mess.
Did you have a nickname back then?
No, in junior high I was Elema, but that's it.
Elema, why Elema?
And I mean, Babelito used it for a lot of things, but Elema like earlier, because that was my tagging because I went to a school full of cholos.
You did what?
This bitch was a tagger.
No way.
Yeah, I went out to a secundaria full of cholos, and they're like, "Tú eres Elema, güey." I'm like, okay.
What does that mean?
Elema, because my name is Emmanuel, so and some of my cousins call me Emma. So I'm Emma, Babelito, Emmanuel.
So many.
Lo que usted guste.
So you would just tag your name, or would you draw something?
No, I would just tag my name.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did it for a year. It barely took off.
So I know you're an academic. Are you also like an artist? Do you do other things besides just studying and take forever to like graduate?
No, I suck at art. I started studying photography. I did it for 2 years. And it was when everything was shifting towards digital. And I used to be obsessed with the process of developing film. So that turned me off. And then I took an art history class and it changed my life. Within the first 5 minutes, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So, no, I don't know how to, not even a, ¿cómo se dice? Un mono de palitos? Like a stick figure? Like, nada, no me sale nada. Mm-mm.
What would I ask? I totally forgot what I asked. This was like me on the panel. I didn't even know like what was going on. I was so nervous. Were you guys nervous on the panels?
I always get a little nervous. Yeah.
So what do you guys do anything to prepare for interviews, like to help with those nerves?
Well, in the podcast, that's what we do is that we have a pre-production meal. So like the guests will come, we'll order food, or we'll actually go out to eat at a restaurant a lot of times, and we'll ask a lot of questions at the meal. And so that'll prepare us for the questions that we're going to ask in the interview.
The first time that I really saw that working was with Radio Menea.
Yeah.
Because we went and we had a big meal. And by the end of the meal, we were the besties.
It was like 2 hours of just like rubbing and getting to know each other. And then so we just kind of...
So it's not awkward? Like what? Because I never have first dates at a restaurant only because if it's weird, then you have to wait like an hour and a half to 2 hours at a table across from each other. Do you ever have those moments where it's like it's really forced?
No, I don't think we've had a guest where it's just like, have we?
No.
Not
I
yet.
think it's because, I mean, we're usually interviewing people that we want to interview.
Yeah.
And that, like we've already researched, so it's not, and it's mostly podcasters. So we know their personalities already. So I don't think it hasn't been very.
Not yet.
Not yet. Mm-mm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah. But we also, part of the formula that I think is working for us is that we interview friends too. We interview family. We've had Justin's aunt and Favy's. We were just talking about this in the car. Favy's cousins. And like, I want to have my older sister too in the podcast. And it's just people that we really want to have. It's not like we have an agency sending us like some big shot, because that's just... I mean, maybe in the future, but if that happens, I feel like we're always going to come back to just interviewing, our people.
What would you guys be doing if y'all never met?
I'd probably be dead.
Yeah? Why?
I don't know. Before I met Emmanuel, I was like I was kind of
Is
a serious,
Babelito?
Sorry, before I met Babelito. Damn, bitch, you got me. Oh shit. I don't know. I think I was really self-destructive, and I used to drink a lot. And when I met Emmanuel, I kind of stopped, or Babelito, I stopped because I got so busy, and I had a friend that I could just like go have coffee with, and because he didn't drink at the time.
How did you guys meet? On Grindr?
I've never downloaded any of those
Why?
applications.
I mean, you're single now, though. So
yeah,
like,
but I was married for
happen?
16 years. So.
We just met. We ran into each other. That's how people meet in Las Vegas.
Actually,
it's a small town.
our friend Nicole, shout out Nicole.
Oh, yeah.
She met Favy like 2 years prior.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Nicole and I, we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
And then she's Babelito's best friend. But Babelito and I had never met. And one time we were at a party, and Nicole was like, have you met my friend? And I said, no. And she's like...
And then
you guys are gonna be soulmates.
Yeah,
I'm
she
gonna
told me
introduce
that.
you to.
She told me that.
Yeah.
She called me. She's like, I just met your soulmate. And I'm like, cálmate. And then 2 years passed. We went to see this exhibition of the costumes of Liberace, and he was working there, and we just hit it off.
Liberace brought us together.
Did you guys ever have a moment where like y'all wanted to like that like physical connection, like you were gonna fuck or something? Did you have that sexual?
Well,
feeling?
when I first met, this is getting very real here.
Yeah, there's a couple of dogs roaming.
When I first met Babelito, I was just so, I don't know. I never met anybody like him, so I was like really going through it. I never talked to you about this, so this is really embarrassing. But I was just like, oh my God, like a smart, like Latino professor. Like I'd never seen anybody like him. So it took me like maybe a couple months to get over that, and then we became friends.
Okay.
Like, you know, just normal.
What kind of, so besides a smart professor, what kind of guy do you look for?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they have a pulse, that's the best. Stupid. I actually used to really only like white people, like white guys, because, you know, we've been conditioned to do that since, you know, forever.
Elaborate. What do you mean we've been conditioned?
You know, Disney movies, any TV show in the 90s. And
a lot of Latinos are hella racist.
Yeah. So it's like white was right for a long time.
You said Latinos are hella racist?
A lot of Latinos, not everybody.
Oh.
Yeah. The idea of mejorando la raza is like a common phrase in dinner tables.
So you feel like Latinos don't want to date other Latinos?
No, but I feel like culturally speaking, the idea of light skin it's embedded in our system that's something positive.
Yeah.
And no, I know a lot of, I know most of the Latinos, gay Latinos I know, they don't fuck with white dudes. So it's not a thing, but it is like, it's our colonial legacy. Like, white skin is a colonial legacy. It was not only a system in the colonial period, but it was institutionalized, and it's part of who we are. It's ingrained within us that light skin is better. And of course, things change. We don't live in the 1700s anymore, but look at a telenovela. Like, look at it's of course in Mexico it's super much more complicated because it's about class too. So it's not like white skin equals wealth. But I think there's a part of a lot of Latinos where it's like, yeah, mejorar la raza if you marry a white dude and things like that, you know?
I don't know if I was conditioned because I come from a small town that's majority like white people. But I do know that I didn't realize this till this year that I had a complex. Like I never felt that I was a handsome guy. I always thought I was ugly. It wasn't until I was walking with my friend and he was talking to me that a lot of his Latino friends dated white guys. And he said a lot of them also have issues that they don't feel very confident the same way that I felt. And he goes, it's because they kept comparing themselves to the white guy. And when I heard that, I was like, poof.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, my entire life up until this point, I have been comparing myself to white people and what the media think is beautiful. And that's why I felt that I was ugly. And it was until that moment where I saw myself as a beautiful brown man. And I was like, holy shit. If I actually look at myself without thinking that, or without comparing myself to a white guy, that I am a handsome brown guy.
Yeah.
One would even say gorgeous. Not that I think I'm gorgeous, but some people will say, wow, you're gorgeous. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like,
Yeah.
I take it.
Own it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen your butthole. It's gorgeous. I'm just gonna say it here.
Did you see the reaction when I said that story? Whenever I was on the panel,
Yeah, that was
everyone's
gross.
like,
That's funny.
Yeah.
But also no shade. Like I dated a white dude for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So and I mean, I don't think it's about choosing race. It's about choosing the right person for you. And I mean, and that can come in different colors. But
Yeah.
but Latinos dating white dudes, it's a thing.
It's like when you only date white dudes. You know what I mean? Like I was only attracted to white dudes, and that's an issue. And once I worked past that, then I saw, oh, that was fucked up of me.
when did you see that you were only dating white guys? When did that click? You're like, poof. Oh shit, I should probably.
After just like dating these fucking boring ass, like basic ass dudes, or like lusting over them for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took years of that. And then finally saying, you know what? Fuck it. Like this is really stupid. I don't understand why this is a thing. And then like you think like, well, it's your podcast, so we're just gonna go there. And you talk about porn all the time, but
Dude,
like,
this is like a safe space.
I know this is a safe space. That's why I'm talking about this. But like, you look at porn, right? You look at TV. You look at
porn categories. Is like the Casta fucking system.
It's crazy.
It's so fucked up.
So then I was like, okay, like, how am I? I'm trying to find like brown people in porn now. And it's like,
and you have to fucking type
that
brown
that aren't fetishized.
exactly.
And it's like it's so hard to do that.
Like if you just type gay porn, you're gonna get pages and pages and pages of white dicks. But if you want to be more specific, you have to type like the race, and it's so fucked up. Like it should just be all included in one single page.
Do you think part of that might have to do with like a Mexican or Latinos upbringing, where like the majority here in I feel like U.S. is like Catholic, and maybe they might have that shame to where like, oh, this isn't a field that I could do because then my mom might see it or my family will disown me. Do you think maybe white people feel more liberated to be in porn?
No, I think that the system was in a way manipulated by white males, and it shows. I mean, I don't watch straight porn, but I'm assuming it's the same thing.
No,
I love it.
Me too.
Oh,
I can't.
It wasn't until this year when I started getting into straight porn where I was kind of scared of a vagina, and after not that like.
I know.
I'm gay, like I don't, but it was like, oh my god, it's a vagina on my screen. Ugh. But now I'm like, where's the vagina? Because I want to see this man fuck this vagina. I'm like, yes, let's watch it. I'm getting into it. It gets me off so fast now.
But it is a system that was created by white dudes. I mean, what's the guy that plays?
Is this an alternative fact, or is this like for real?
Hugh Hefner.
Oh
yeah, like
didn't he just die?
Yeah, he just
Thank God.
He just died, but that's the system. Like he's the gigolo or whatever, that creates this system that is very classified and stereotyped, and it's about types, and that's a I wanted to say microaggression, but it's not. It's like a macroaggression where we're like, oh, I'm not racist, but I'm only into white dudes, like no, like it's showing, you know what I'm saying? And you see it every day.
Why do you think there isn't someone like Hugh Hefner, like a brown version of that was ever big, or why anyone ever tried? Has there ever? I don't know this, but has there's there been like a brown Hugh Hefner?
Well, thank God there is not.
Why? I don't mean as
because we don't need somebody, like we don't need a Mexicano to be fucking objectifying women or dudes
sure
at that fucking level, and I'm sure there are, but we're not allowed that level of greatness. We're not allowed to get away with fucked up shit, like white males.
Shout out to Harvey Weinstein.
You're so stupid.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned telenovelas earlier, and then you mentioned Liberace. Is there someone on TV or an artist that help with your identity or help you feel confident in being Latino or just in general?
Oh, interesting question. Anytime there was a Latino on TV, you felt so much pride. And I think even though I don't like him anymore, when George Lopez hit the scene, like when I was in high school or whatever, finally somebody funny that everybody liked cross-culturally, but that was hella Chicano was...
That was so Chicano.
So Chicano was like the most popular comedian at the time. And I remember just feeling so proud of that. I think that was really like the first like big star that I can think of. That wasn't just specifically for like Univision, the Latino community. No, it was like across everything. But you know, they hang out with enough white people for long enough and they forget who they are. So that's what happened to George Lopez.
Yeah, his second
like playing golf too much.
Yeah, everything he after that first kind of series that he did, or his like the show, it for me it wasn't that good anymore.
Yeah.
It was kind of boring. Same
before
thing with
he-
Angela Johnson. She had the same kind of road that he took.
Yeah.
I grew up with Mexicans and TV all over my media and my music. So that was never a thing for me. But definitely when it came to gay representation, I latched onto Juan Gabriel. I did. Like, he was, for him being from, not from Juarez, but like, yeah, him being from Juarez and being so flamboyant and doing his thing, and my parents going to the concerts and everything, gave me a sense of security that I didn't know till he died. In retrospect, I was like, fuck. Like, he was not only one of my favorite performers of all time, like he shaped who I am as a gay man. And
Who are you as a gay man?
I am Juan Gabriel.
Did you ever watch that interview he did with himself?
Oh yeah.
Me caes bien.
Tú también. Te ves muy bien. Tú también. Yeah. No, because of the shame of being gay too, I rejected femme for a long time. Actually, speaking of how are we before we met each other, that's kind of where I was. And Favy helped me get out of the closet and embrace, for example, going to drag shows. I was uncomfortable going to drag shows before. And now it's like, it gives me so much life. Yesterday we saw a drag queen doing the most perfect Veronica Castro. We died. I remember thinking,
God,
I want to take her home and I just want to hug her all day long. Like, it just gives me life.
that was the best lip sync I've ever seen in my entire natural life.
Did you guys get her name?
No.
Shit, no.
But I mean, she's the best Veronica Castro impersonator in Los Angeles. We'll find her. We could just Google it.
We gotta find her.
But I was just captivated. I was just captivated for the 2 or 3 songs that she did. I couldn't believe it. People thought that the people that we were with thought she was actually singing.
Yeah,
I remember I heard people next to me. Is she singing this song? No, bitch. She was,
because it was a live track too.
it was a live. She's so smart. It was a live track. Her makeup was on point, and her mannerisms. Yes. Oh my.
So good.
I was dead.
But anyway, let me finish my thought.
Sorry.
So because of that, I always put me being gay as second to everything else. So when I came out, a way for me to want to be accepted was to go to school. Like, I'm going to be an academic before being gay. I'm going to be an artist before being gay. I'm going to be this before gay. So now it's not at the forefront, but it's definitely part of everything I do. I don't create those hierarchies within my identity no more. Before I used to do that.
Did you
now
notice
it's just all a package?
Did you notice your mannerisms changed after you came out?
Oh, no.
No.
No, al contrario.
What age were you when you came out?
15.
Yeah, like 15.
Oh wow.
I was very young, 14, 15 years old, yeah.
It's like a millennial. They come out so young.
Except the millennials probably have it easier, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Really.
relative.
Yeah.
Oh, relative, you're right. Yeah.
What about you when you come out?
I'm not.
Oh, that's right. I was listening to some things that you said. Some of your relatives you haven't come out to.
Well,
yet.
I'm out, but not to some of my relatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like it's none of their business.
Because I'm tired of doing it. Like, I did it for like a year or 2, and then I just stopped doing it. I'm like, I think they all know. They're all fucking chismosos, so it's like...
And we were just talking about this morning, that we need to stop coming out of the closet. Other people need to come out as accepting to us.
Yeah.
Damn,
say that again.
We need to stop. Yeah, because it's as Fabi was saying earlier. It's like it's emotionally draining to go through that process, because it's not one conversation with your family. It's el primo, luego el vecino, luego el amigo, and then, and like you were saying, luego lloran, and you have to comfort them, and it's just so much. People should just live their lives. And if somebody needs to come out as homophobic, then let it deal with their fucking situation. Adios. Correct. Yeah.
I had MySpace out. You know how MySpace had like the gay section? I was like, boop, I'm gay. That was my way coming out.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, it was. Most of my cousins knew, and I didn't really care about my aunts or uncles, so it's like whatever. They would always ask questions. Like my uncle, he would always be like, so you have a girlfriend? And I was like, no. And he would ask that like every year. You have a girlfriend? But he never had like the guts to say, are you gay or do you have a boyfriend?
I hate that question every time I see one, certain tias. So are you dating anybody? You have a girlfriend? I'm like, bitch, does it look like I have a girlfriend? Like I'm like twirling in a fucking whatever.
Yeah,
so annoying.
I've had a very accepting larger family. They never confronted me. One day I brought my dude. Like to meet everybody in Juarez.
So you said you have a very accepting family. Then where was this shame coming from that you said that you had for being gay?
It's because I mean they have never shamed me for being gay now, but I definitely remember growing up hearing all these jokes about gay this and gay that, y el maricón y la chingada. So there is the stigma still there, but people respect me.
Isn't it crazy that some of the biggest artists you see are like very flamboyant or gay, and people still have issues with like gays?
Yeah.
Because then like Prince was very flamboyant, and then you mentioned Juan Gabriel, and he's a huge star in Mexico, right? And yet people still have an issue with someone like walking very like for lack of a better word, flaming or like looking like a faggot when they're walking down the street. That's so crazy how someone has more liberties when you're rich and famous, but you don't have that as a common folk.
But I think that's because to us they're icons. To them they're clowns.
Yeah, that's it. Like they're the clowns entertaining you. It's okay if they're gay. Like even straight people love drag queens, but they don't want them at Thanksgiving dinner. Mm-hmm. I would love to have.
Oh my god! Imagine,
bitch.
Wait.
Oh my god! Stop.
Oh
Pass the gravy, Veronica Castro.
Agarrando la pata del
She goes
pavo.
into song just to say no. Have you guys ever dressed up in drag?
Actually, I have, but I never told Babelito about it.
No, you did.
What did I do?
I don't remember, but you told me that you did it.
But
once.
it was like it was soft drag. One year I was Justice Sonia Sotomayor for Halloween.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
She's in the Supreme Court.
Oh, that's so lame.
Latina.
Oh,
the first
okay.
Latina in the Supreme
You're
Court.
making a statement.
She's a badass.
Yeah, it was the year she got in. I was her for Halloween because I had long hair at the time.
So like 3 years ago, like
no, it was like
4,
8 years ago already.
Damn. Oh yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I had like hair down to my shoulder, so I didn't have to do anything. I just put a robe on.
You had hair down to your shoulder?
Yeah, I had long hair.
What year was this?
2007.
What inspired you to get long hair? Because I look at you and I don't think, oh yeah, Favy would like. You would never. I don't look at you and think, oh yeah, he's gonna.
I don't know. I was in art school and I let it grow out pretty long.
So you're broke.
And I was broke, and then people kept commenting like, "Wow, you have such beautiful hair," and so then I would just let it grow, and then it just looked stupid. Yeah, I didn't know.
Wait, speaking of hair,
you
you came up with some ridiculous shampoo that you had mentioned that you were gonna buy, and I'm like,
I need it.
Okay, for anyone who's out there and hears this, I'm calling bullshit on this shampoo, but please explain what this shampoo is that you ordered and why you ordered it.
So there's this señor in Juarez who knows a cousin that knows a friend or whatever, but he makes this shampoo and puts all these natural ingredients, including cebolla, including onion. And I swear, I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, I've seen family members who've been losing their hair for years, and they started using this shit, and it's fluffy. What does it have? I don't know. He makes it in his house, and it's wonderful, and I need to get it because it's been a stressful year, and I'm losing a lot of hair.
Are you? Mm-hmm. But you still have like a full head of hair.
Mm-hmm. It's very thin.
You hide it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wears a lot of hats now.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I have entradas y salidas look. Yeah.
That's so much hair, right?
Yeah, it's like...
Imagine
it's a full head of hair. Like,
imagine what it looked like before, though.
I just remember like 5 years ago, like even washing my hair.
He didn't have a forehead. It was just eyebrows. It was just eyebrows and then the hairline.
Ojos, yeah.
Damn, look at that. That's like 5 inches.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned that you got a divorce. And we don't have to talk about that. But like after that, have you noticed something different that you're doing? Like, did you start working out more? Are you happier? Are you looking at the world different now?
No, I have not been able to process a lot of things because I'm so busy, and I'm blessed to be so busy, and no, it's just I'm kind of scared about dating because I feel like dudes are jaded in general, and I'm not.
You haven't dated in 16 years. The world's changed a lot.
Exactly. Like I refuse to download apps, and it's been months, and I can't. So when I think about it, I'm like, fuck it, I just want to get laid.
We'll just have to go back to tempo.
Girl.
You'll be just fine.
I don't know. Like I can't. Everything I do in my practice is to demystify shit, like break myths about art and race and this and this and that. But the myth of love, it's so ingrained in my brain that that's the last thing I'm holding on to. So I feel like I want to date y la manita sudada y all that shit like sweeps me off my feet.
That's a saying.
Okay,
Good job.
okay.
I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was really young, and I was been a server for my whole entire life basically. And I had this issue where I didn't like people to touch me, and I would flinch when they would try to touch me. It was a thing. It was a problem.
Yeah.
And I remember one time my coworker, she was my friend, and she goes, there's only two reasons why people act like that when they flinch and they don't like to be touched. Is either because they've never been loved and because they've been abused. And in my head, I was like, whoa! I had an epiphany. I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, both. And and it wasn't until that moment that I heard someone say it out loud where I can start healing within, because I had a big issue with people like touching me. It was weird and crazy, and I didn't understand what it was and why up until that moment when she spoke it. So for me, I'm the same way. Like I look for love, and sometimes so much and so like hard that sometimes it comes off as desperation. But it's just because I've never had it in my life that I look for it, and it's like one of the most important things in my life is like love and affection. Those are the kind of the one things I look for.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's I don't know what it is. Like I know it's even an institution, right? And it's even part of our oppressive system. But this whole romantic idea about love, mira me lo trago. Yeah.
What's your ideal date? Like if you're gonna date someone, what if someone wants to date Babelito? What should they do?
I recently had a perfect date.
Shut up! Tell us.
Yes, it was. We went to the museum.
Mm-hmm.
We went to have amazing fucking Mexican food. We went to a Central American Film Festival and just like hang out at a hotel. It was fucking perfect.
That sounds amazing.
But again, I haven't dated. I really never really dated before. So maybe that was a shitty date and I have no idea. But because
that sounds pretty
fun.
great.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
You're a pasiva, right?
Te voy a dejar con la duda. No. Con la duda dentro.
No, I think because I only say that because I've been listening to the podcast that you were doing and he was making fun of you. You had something about being pasiva. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know you are.
Yeah, te voy a dejar con la duda.
How's your dating life going?
It's not. And... But that's because of me, because I have a lot of hang-ups, and I need to get over that shit. We were actually just talking about this too, dude.
This weekend was way
intense.
too real and intense, yeah.
The new moon. And we
believe.
I just need to get over a lot of bullshit, that has been kind of ingrained in my head. And I'm not as romantic as Babelito, so like that shit doesn't, for the longest time, it's really fucked up to say. But I just was like, I just want somebody that will like hold stuff for me and just like be quiet.
My
and just
assistant.
like have somebody to eat with me.
You want a dog?
And then
I hate animals.
Maybe that's what I do need. No, and then that's what I think they're like, oh, you should just hire an assistant to do that.
Yeah,
said,
pretty
oh my God, well, that's all I need is an assistant.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. So
where can they email their applications?
So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my income a little higher, and then with ZipRecruiter.com/Latinos, I'm going to hire somebody off the internet.
Hey, I'm looking for a new job. So hey, how much you paying?
Oh my God. You would be perfect.
Wouldn't I?
Yes.
I'd be like the queeniest assistant ever.
Oh my God. Can I do stuff to you?
I mean, we can talk about how much you're paying me first.
Perfect.
Hired.
That'd be great.
So I know we're like already close to like an hour in, but we haven't discussed who you are and what you do. Can we like elaborate a little bit on that?
Tú primero.
Well, I am a visual artist most of the time, and I make a lot of work about my identity as a Latino, Latinx, Latinao American.
El Venao.
El Venao. And it's been a hell of a ride recently, as the people say. Trying to figure out like my place in the art world and like what I can do and how I can survive just being an artist. This year I quit like my part-time day job. So I went from like full-time work to just part-time, and now 100% of my time is dedicated to making artwork and making this podcast. And now Podcasterio Network, of course. So I'm really excited about this upcoming year because I'm really going to focus on Latinos Who Lunch and on my art and split the time evenly to see what happens. Because a lot of the times I feel like I spread myself really thin trying to do so many projects, and now I just have like these two things that are so intertwined within each other that it just makes sense to just like really focus on that. So yeah, I'm an artist. I really love doing the Latinos Who Lunch. I see myself as the co-producer of the show, and I edit the show myself. And I love having this brand and having this platform to elevate so many voices and amplify so many voices. And like we said, I mean, we were just giving a talk at Wellesley College. Like some of the smartest people in the world go to school there, and they're listening to our bullshit and like snapping, and
I know
it was amazing.
Yeah, when like
all
girls
these
started snapping, and we're like, oh.
What got me was the professors coming up to us after, the professors from the school just like coming up to us and hugging us after our lecture. Mm-hmm. No words, just like thank you and giving us a hug. Like these girls have never heard this before.
What's your favorite type of art to make, and also your favorite kind of episode to make for Latinos Who Lunch?
My favorite,
because you do multiple things. You do piñatas, you do sculptures, you do paintings.
Yeah, my favorite kind of art is the art that's the easiest. I do a lot of installation work, and I like that kind of work. Like I cover rooms in paper, so it's like a giant piñata mural basically that you're walking through. And those are really grueling to do, like on your body. I mean, Babelito's been there with me doing one for weeks, and even though they're so hard to do, I love it when I have the correct resources and the institution provides that. And so I have like 20 people on the job with me. I love that community that's like surrounded and that like we're all working, and I love that part about my artwork. So the work that's more social is my favorite. So like my family fiesta performances that I do, where my family and I go to a location and just make this happen, like just make a family barbecue or family birthday party happen in a weird place, to make a statement about institutional inclusion or invisibility, or like when I make a lowrider and I have a workshop with a community that actually helps me make it, because I didn't realize I loved it so much until recently when I was like stuck in my studio. Babelito knows, he didn't see me for 2 weeks straight, just like making these paintings that I had to get done. And I got so depressed because I didn't see anybody for 2 weeks. I was literally 12 hours a day, just like gluing paper to these canvases. And I when I did that, I thought I'm never going to do that again. Like that was really hard work. And I don't want to be an artist that doesn't enjoy what they're doing, So that's question number one, right?
Before you answer question number two, I know you had mentioned that you were really excited to see Viva La Gran Girls, and their podcast has to do with a lot about self-care.
Yeah.
When you realized that type of work makes you very depressed, what did you do to for the self-care aspect of that part? What helped you get out of that depression and keep you happy? What do you do for those moments?
I had to leave the house. I I have to leave the house. This is something that I figured out. So I have to get up, I have to take a shower, I have to change into my uniform, and then I have to like set rules. So I'll listen to a podcast, and a podcast is usually an hour long, and then my reward is to stand up and like go make a snack.
So can we talk about this uniform really quick? How did it happen and why?
It naturally happened. Like I bought this skeleton t-shirt at one of the first museum shows that I had, because it was in Walmart land in Arkansas, in Bentonville, Arkansas. There's Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, and I actually did that was the first place I did Family Fiesta, because they had funding to fly my family out there, and we all took a trip to Walmart. Like I just wanted to take photos of us at like the flagship Walmart, because it was just so stupid that I was at Walmart headquarters. Walmart was paying me to be there. My family has always shopped at Walmart, so I was like, let's go and do a photo shoot at Walmart. And I found this skeleton shirt there, and just started wearing it all the time. It was my favorite shirt, because I think it reminded me of that day, because it was just so cool. It was the first time I experienced like my family being a part of my art, and
because they show up a lot. They're really supportive. Yeah. For you, right?
And so the skeleton shirt and the cardigan just happened, and I had a red cardigan all these years because I love Mr. Rogers, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Is that one of your like fetishizing the white guy kind of thing?
Yeah, I love him so much. So that became my uniform. Then I just started wearing all black, and then I grew my mustache out. I used to shave it, but I grew my mustache out, and I consider this and the red cardigan my uniform.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so your favorite episode to make for Latinos Who Lunch is?
The ones where Babelito and I just catch up. Those are my absolute favorite. And because that's like the core of the podcast. That's, for me, is like the relationship between Babelito and I. And I think our friendship is really important, and it kind of, in a way, kind of forces us to really communicate and talk to each other, but in a fun way, because I think most of the time we're in business mode, and I get angry really easy. So it's a way for me to really check myself, because you're actively like thinking about what you're saying, and then like I'll be a bitch to Babelito, and I'm like, fuck, that was really fucked up, and then I really check myself. So it's always interesting to do those episodes.
How grateful are you to have Babelito in your life right now?
I mean, like I told you, I don't know. Who knows? Like, this is so crazy. Like, I can't imagine what my life would be right now. Like, it would have taken a completely different turn if I haven't met him, because he's affected not only the podcast, but like what I'm making, like what kind of art that I'm making, and just like, I'm basically just ripping him off. Like anytime that I do a lecture, I'm just like using what he's taught me.
Do you guys ever take a time out to say, hey, we need some material to make, let's like not see each other for 2 weeks, so when we come we have a really good conversation?
It just happens naturally because we're so busy.
We have to force ourselves to see each other now.
Wow.
Because when we first met, we hung out like every day nonstop, and then we wouldn't see each other for like 2 days and be like, what the fuck, are you mad at me? So
you're like rethinking what I say.
So now like we're like, dude, like, come on, let's really make an effort this week to hang out at least twice. You know?
Like next week we're going just to see museums.
Yeah.
And we made it a point, because we could book recording podcasts and things, because we're going to LA.
Yeah.
But we just said no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna meet with Podcasterio people, but really for like an hour. So out of the whole weekend, 1 hour of work. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite artist to see when you go to museums?
Do we have a favorite artist? But not in.
I don't have a favorite artist necessarily. I just like certain museums maybe more than others.
Yeah.
Just like more museums that are more inclusive of, POC work, or just like, to be honest, I'm really into contemporary art more. I like to go see contemporary art more than like, pre-colonial shit or whatever, which is really important, and I know I should see it, but
and I'm the opposite.
And he's the opposite. So this is, it's cool, because we're kind of force each other to see things that we normally wouldn't look at.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear our perspectives, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
So I am a recent PhD in Ibero-American colonial art, which basically means art of the colonies, of the Spanish colonies, and more specifically New Spain, which from 1519 to 1821 was from Oregon, like from West Coast of the United States all the way to Chile. But I concentrate on New Spain, which is mostly Mexico. So I concentrate on painting from the 18th century. I look at mendicant orders, meaning religious orders that came here to quote unquote spiritually conquered indigenous people. So there's Dominicans, Franciscans, Jesuits. I concentrate on the Franciscans and the art that they do and how fucked up all of that is. There's a lot of scholars that deal with these topics, but they tend to idolize or give them the benefit of the doubt. And I've been told that I'm too radical by just showing the receipts and just basically talking about how fucked up it is. But when you have a group of people that not only participated in the genocide of millions of indigenous people, but also participated in an epistemicide, meaning the destruction of ways of knowledge. When that happens, I don't give them any benefit of the doubt. And it's going to become a problem, and it's already a problem with some of the editors. I'm publishing an article, and I know this is going to happen when I publish my book, but I ran out of fucks to give. And and yeah, like, stop romanticizing anything about the colonial period because it's messed up.
Whenever you were learning all this information, was it shocking to you that this...
It was very shocking. My dad has worked all his life to shield us from a lot of things that he went through. So he specifically said, we're going to live in the suburbs, and I'm going to do everything I can to protect you. And he did a hell of a job. He was amazing. But I never was exposed to a lot of things. And also because he worked in El Paso, we live in Juarez. So it was like a nice middle class life in Mexico. And it's not till later that I started to see things. I went to grad school believing that race was not a problem in Latin America. Ooh. That it was something for the gringos, right? And learning how that system was created by the Spanish, basically, it was shocking. So it was 4 years of learning about psychoanalysis that fucked me up, learning about the colonial period that fucked me up, the learning about how gender and race and class difference works today in the United States, today in Latin America, and then in the colonial period, fucked me up. So it was 4 years where I was quiet, and I didn't know how much it affected me when it was affecting me. And then after those 4 years, like, I just opened up and started talking and started writing, and then the podcast and this and that. And no me puedo callar. Like, I'm still fucking.
No, it sounds like it was healing for you to speak out because you didn't know how to handle it, right? So it's good that you did that.
And I remember going to classes and some of my classmates outside of the classroom crying. Just be like, oh, this is a horrible. God. Yeah, because art history is fucked up. Art history it's very privileged, and art history has created a very dangerous narrative about the white genius. So, but precisely because of that, we have to demystify that and break those myths. So that's my job, to stay in art history because it's so fucked up.
I feel like I'm a very wise person, but I lack a lot of knowledge, and I always love to learn. So what is there one thing while you're in front of me that you would love for me to like take with me the rest of my life after all the studies that you learn? What is one thing that I should know?
That you should know, or that I should
know? That I should know from you, from learning and using all this knowledge.
It's just so today in social media, we tend to gravitate towards two poles, right? Either we create our bubbles and we forget about the world, or we think we are outside of that bubble and we think everything is fucking problematic. However, while that's important, that's a step, and that's something that we didn't have 10 years ago. I think that if you broke that bubble and you see the problems, like, let's push it a little bit harder. And contextualizing things historically, if a post from Facebook blows your mind, when you get into it, when you just make the extra step to read one article or to read a book, if you think you're mind blown, if you think you're woke right now, like just wait for it. And I know we don't have all the privilege to do it. I know we don't have time because we gotta work, and as Latinos, we love to work, right? But I will say that if you run into something in social media that bothers you, like go for it, like really go for it, because you can spend a whole career just getting into that.
What about something from like the path that has happened, like a genocide or like depression, something that you've learned that I like from our heritage? Like what is something that I should know that maybe I don't, that are like school systems in the United States don't teach?
The native groups in all of Latin America have never stopped fighting. Never. And we have this mentality that sometimes they're revolted. We have this mentality that they're not important. They're passive. All the narratives about, all the Hollywood narratives about slaves concentrate on like white men saving them, right? When never stop fighting. And from 1492 to Dakota pipeline, it's never stopped. So when we realized that Native resistance has been in the foreground of all of our rights as human beings in this continent, I think we can learn so much from that.
You mentioned you were writing a book. Is that something that was required for school, or you were just so passionate that you had to put something on paper?
Academia is brutal. Having a degree from a public university means nothing, even if it's a PhD. So I have to work the extra step. And in order to get a tenure track, to get secure job in a university, you have to publish articles, you have to do your book. So if I want to stay and create this sort of radical dialogue, which shouldn't be radical, it should just be a dialogue in the classroom, I got to take those steps, which means stay teaching and maybe do adjuncting for another couple of years and publish more articles and then work on that book. And
what is adjuncting?
Adjuncting meaning you get hired by the university just per semester, and you don't get
like a guest teacher, basically.
Yes. So, but once you're tenure track or tenured, that means that you pretty much have a life.
What location do you have your eyes on?
I want to stay here because family is here and Latinos Who Lunch is here.
So you would work like a university here?
Yeah, right now I am, but as adjunct. But I have my eyes in California too, so I'm looking into the school system because I feel like the student body in the Cal State, for example, schools, those are the kids that I want to teach. Yeah.
Nice. I hate kids. All kinds of kids.
And my favorite type of episodes...
I have so much respect for you for like, working with kids because I'm like, ugh.
And my favorite types of episodes are like where when we break down those myths, like the Frida episode or the episode about monuments, and there's a lot of things coming up that where we continue to do that. So
nice. Mm-hmm. So you guys were both in my city recently.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was funny.
How was that experience for you guys?
I loved it. I love Austin. I mean, and I loved it because of you guys. I think the podcast definitely, me reaching out through Latinos Who Lunch is the first time I really did that in a place that I had an artist residency.
Oh, and it was beautiful.
So, hello, like all these amazing people that we met that you got to connect with.
Yeah.
Was so cool because like Mario, excuse me. Mario.
Wait, he doesn't like Mario?
I think his name is Mario. That's how he introduces himself.
Oh, okay.
So Mario and
from the barrio.
Mario from the barrio. Beto and Jason. I mean, all those people. I was just the first time that I did an artist residency that I was really sad to leave.
Oh.
Like I didn't want to go.
Were you surprised by anything that Austin offered?
Was I surprised? I didn't realize how humid it was.
I didn't realize that there were so many Latinos in Austin until you introduced me to them. I was
my God, that makes me so happy.
Yes, I had never seen so many Latinos in my life in Austin before.
Oh,
I thought I was like the only one.
No, I knew there was a lot of white people there because Texas, but
There's a lot of Latinos in Texas.
Right, but everybody's always asked, were you shocked about the gentrification and the white people? And I'm like, no, that's everywhere, you know. And I knew that Austin was already like a targeted city because of all the cool shit that's there. I just what surprised me about Austin, how quick that I was able to find a community and feel at home. People are so social there and so friendly. I had a great time. Even the white people, you know, especially the people at the Museum of Human Achievement, they're all so generous and really were there to facilitate anything that I wanted to do. So it was an incredible experience.
I was a little intimidated being in LA. Well, I'm not intimidated, but I don't know if you guys the only way I can like compare it to is like if you're like one or two of the, like if you're in a group of white people and you're like the only brown person.
Yeah.
Like whenever I was in LA, I felt like I was like the only white person, but I'm brown just because I've only ever lived around white people. So whenever I was in LA, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know there was parts of the area where it was just specifically just brown. Because I didn't see one white person when I was in downtown LA.
Beautiful.
And it was crazy.
I know. I was talking about it. I took a picture in Podcasterio. I'm like, there's not a single white person in here.
Yes.
That was mind blowing. Not that they're not welcome. That's not the point. The point is that this is how much we needed this space. Like, this is how much people need this space.
Yeah.
So that was a beautiful thing.
It was
a
very beautiful thing. Thank you so much for letting me join, by the way, because I know it was like last minute whenever I had asked if I could be a part of it.
No, it's our pleasure.
No,
Yeah.
of course.
This is a different side of you.
What do you mean?
Because you said you were nervous, and I'm glad you told me that in Podcasterio Fest, because it was a different attitude that you projected. And your media personality is different as well.
What do you mean?
So having this in front of me, and you're an incredible interviewer, like, this is so refreshing.
Aww.
You are.
You're
No,
really
let's talk a
good.
little bit more about me, not because I'm a narcissist, but only because like I don't know what you mean by my media presence and in me being in person in Podcasterio
You're
Fest.
yourself, right? And you're unapologetic. And that's the person that I met at Podcasterio. And I don't have any problems with that. That's not the point. But you also have this side of you that it's very professional, that it's also again, you're an incredible interviewer, and I like that. I like that we can be this kind of people, that we can have our personalities online and we can have our professional life, that we can be everything. And I love that. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I am the same person online that I am in person. I don't really see the difference, but then again, I'm only seeing it from my eyes, not from the outside. So maybe I do things. I do know.
We all do it. I think we all do. I think we all put a facade online that.
Oh, girl, I don't put a facade online, girl.
No, I'm not. But
I'm a cochina in person.
No, but I think we all put. But even that, maybe that also can be a facade about other aspects of yourself that you don't want to show people. Oh. Like you're showing me something that I haven't seen in your Instagram, for example. And we all do it. Like I've met people who are like, oh, we thought you were crazy because of the podcast and you just like to have fun all the time. It's like, no, like I'm a fucking boring person. Like in order to learn all this like bullshit about the colonial period, you think I'm like partying and hooking up, and no, like, and that's the thing. But that's what I show on social media.
Yeah, people think that I'm more of a, because you know I'm say really stupid shit all the time on the podcast. So
one could say you might be racist sometimes. You know?
Oh, very racist. So I like recently, like I went to New York and I hung out with some people and they thought I was a party animal, and I was just like, can we just go sit somewhere quiet for a little while? You know, like I'm kind of opposite, but I do like to party too. Like like last night in LA.
Oh, you were on it.
I was a wreck. But usually I'm like, can we just like? It's really loud in here. Why is this bar so loud?
We never go out here.
We never.
Like,
I mean, I know
work.
Yeah,
and stuff, but if we want to party, like it always happens out of town. It never happens here. We should go out, man.
Here?
Let's go out tonight.
I'm good.
No, I gotta work.
If you want to go out, I will
No, we're
take you out
good.
though, because you didn't make it.
You should see,
esfuerzo to come all the way out here to
Okay.
Vegas.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, like, what you might be seeing is, like, whenever what you saw on Podcasterio Fest is when I'm amongst people, I, like, have a different energy because I flourish in those moments. I mean, that might be why you see something different when it's just, like, us, just in this intimate moment, where it's just us two sitting here. But, yeah, that's just, I don't try to be fake or anything. So
No
hopefully
Tino
that-
shade
yeah.
at all. No. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, this is a good
Yeah,
side.
you fake ass bitch.
Bitch, that's one thing I say. I'm not a fake ass bitch. The first thing I asked when I got one of the email, I was like, I think it was like Luis. I was like, can I say fucking bitch or should I leave that in Texas? He's like,
Oh,
nah,
no,
just
that
be-"
was me.
Okay, was it you? And I was like, he's like, no, just be you. I was like, okay, good, thank you. So whenever I was talking, I was like, should I kind of hesitated about telling my nasty stories about YouTube. I was like, nah, that's me. There might be someone out there who might need to hear it, and you never know. And I was like, I'm just gonna like speak my truth.
And that's why we need a lot more podcasts, because you don't think that, for example, some people may not think that your voice is necessary to hear about your experiences and your unapologetic persona and like all these things. And as you said, somebody needs to hear it out there.
Girl, guess who
And
gravitated to me the most?
who?
Women, like young girls. Like they would come up to me and just talk to me about like me the panel and just me being there. It was like crazy. So where can we find you guys online?
Take it away.
You could find me at
Do it in one take.
Yeah. You can find me at latinoswholunch.com. Also, my website, justinfavela.net. You can see my work there. And I'm Favy Fav on all social media platforms.
Nice.
And I'm Babelito on Instagram. I quit Facebook because it's evil.
I quit Facebook too. I deleted it. I waited the 14 days.
Do you feel liberated?
I did.
Yo
I was like,
también.
oh my God. Like, I just feel like this negative weight just leave my body. I was like, I'm free.
I don't miss it at all.
Me either. I stick to Instagram though. You know, 'cause I got to post those.
Yeah, I'm obsessed
nudes
with
somewhere.
Instagram too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I just want to say thank you so much. We're going to end it because I know you said you got to go. I'm getting tired and it's late. So thank you so much for joining me and having a chat with me.
Of course.
You guys are awesome.
This was beautiful.
I know, right?
This was beautiful.
Maybe
yes.
next time I won't be so nervous and we can like have a more
I can't
like
believe
intimate
you're
conversation.
nervous with us.
It's
Like,
weird.
you know us already.
Well, it's more because I want to live up, like, because you guys have a really good podcast, and there's like for me, I just want to. There's like an expectation that I should live up to.
Oh, okay.
And especially after hearing so many great people you've chatted with, and someone's like, what if like I'm the one podcast that fucking sucks with you guys, you know? Or
Oh God.
I just have this fear of failing, and so that's what. Also, I was talking to Pam, and she was like, why? She was talking to me about like what I do. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a photographer. I do the podcasting, but she's like, oh, but I don't get paid for any of it because I don't make money off it because I have a problem like networking and putting myself out there and finding my own value. And she's like, well, we should work on that. I was like, yeah, I know. 2018, I'm gonna try to work on that.
Good.
So
You're
that's
worth
also
it.
why I have a fear of failing. So that's always why
That's not
why I
always
was
a bad
nervous.
thing. You want to do good. I mean, it doesn't paralyze you, you know, but you're still doing what you want to do,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
And that makes you have better ethics and be a more responsible podcaster, which we need more of those.
Yeah.
So if you guys were gonna make your own podcast before we go, what kind of podcast would you make solo?
Oh, see, you're good.
Okay, I have a few ideas.
Okay.
So, I love pop culture. I love TV shows. So I would do like Cabronas and Chiconas, but like Favy Fav, where they talk about movies or certain episodes of things. Like you guys do the rundown, you know?
I was just about to ask you, would
Yeah.
y'all want to be on it one time?
Yes.
Okay.
So like an after,
my
like you
God,
guys do the
yes.
RuPaul's after show. So I would love to go back and like go get all the episodes of Roseanne and go episode by episode and talk about each one with different guests.
Why
you know
Roseanne?
What I mean? That was one of my
Oh,
that's
just an
one of my
example.
examples. Like
Okay.
that was one of my favorite shows. But you know, or do like key episodes of certain TV shows. I would love to be able to talk about that.
What are you watching these days?
Oh my gosh. Well, like right now we've been so busy that I when I do watch something, it's like on YouTube really quick, and it's mostly just like drag queens.
Well, what series do you enjoy then on TV?
Let's see. The last thing that I've watched is Insecure. I watched the second
That was
season
so
of
good.
it.
Did you go take a picture at Dunes?
No, I didn't go. I saw Maite was there. I was so pissed. But when I was in Austin, I would watch an episode before I went to bed. So that was like the last thing that I like really binge watched. Oh, and Leah Remini's Scientology and the Aftermath.
I have not seen that yet.
Obsessed. Okay. So because of the Insecure thing, I just started, I go on the podcast app and I Google and I search the TV show, because there's all these after shows, and I found this one called Insecurity, like tea, you know, like what's the tea? And that's what really inspired me. I was like, oh, this is such a good show because they go episode by episode, right? And or another podcast that I would do is like an specific art podcast, like in the studio. So like me going around to different artist studios and having a chat like artist to artist, just to like, you know, a lot of these art podcasts that are out there, they're so fucking boring. And I wanna, you know, we as Latinos Who Lunch try to make art accessible and art history accessible. And I'm sorry, but these fucking podcasts are just made for the art world and made for artists. I want to make an art podcast for me and for people that maybe don't understand art, and just like bullshit with an artist in their studio, like, and just like really get to the core of why they're doing what they're doing, and not just like using fluffy art words for no fucking
That's
reason.
what I like to do with people that I interview, is get to the core of who they are and why they do it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So you mentioned drag queen. So you know, now that you mentioned it, I can't leave without asking you about Valentina.
Valentina.
Yes. Wait, what podcast would you do if you had one by yourself?
Oh, I will do something.
I was gonna get to it after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're killing the flow,
I'm
dude.
sorry. Edit this shit out, girl.
I don't. No, I keep everything in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I might edit like an If you say too many then I'll.
Well,
take it
then
out.
let's do Valentina, because that's
Yeah,
that's,
go for it. Sorry.
I'm starting to just not care no more about her.
Okay.
I think I'm over it. At first I was like, yes, like doing like Rocío Dúrcal, like yes, please, like that's what I want to see in my Chicana drag queens, and just with elegance, and Maria Felix, and I'm like, so refreshing that we don't have a fucking Mexican queen dressing like Frida Kahlo, and you know, like just do the same old shit. But then it's just, she's created this aura about herself that no me la trago. And maybe later I come back to her. Maybe she'll do something that impresses me. And also, she's great in a lot of things, but she's also lacking in a lot of things that I look for in a drag queen.
What do you look for?
I look for a good entertainer. And I look for somebody to
What keeps you captivated from looking away and checking your phone?
Oh. Like, let's talk about the Veronica Castro impersonator.
Yeah, like that's the perfect
why was she
example.
so captivating to you?
Because I wasn't like everything. The tiny
He's
little
losing the words.
the most amazing tiny little details. Like
The way that she moved her hand.
like even the tics of Veronica
Shoulders.
Castro. Like
So both of you guys both said yes in your story. What was she doing that made you scream out
those
yes?
tics.
What tick was it?
Look, the way that her mouth, like that she was showing her teeth when she was singing. Whoa. Like you knew that she watched Veronica Castro videos for hours to know how to make her teeth look. Like her teeth looked like Veronica Castro's teeth, right? And those were her real teeth. Like I was looking.
Did you guys have an emotional moment? Were you all crying at that point? Was it something so emotional for you? Are you like a really big
I was
fan?
filled with nostalgia when I saw her.
Yes.
And then so she had her
Dude,
mouth.
that's a good entertainer.
Her
That's
mouth-
a good drag queen.
Her mouth was the way that she was forming the words was perfect. And then she did the little head ticks that Veronica Castro did. And that's what killed me.
Like you can hear it screaming, and she
Anytime
wasn't
she
doing
ticked her
anything.
head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because she did this.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, what did I miss?
And the tick was synchronized. The tick was synchronized with the eye and the mouth.
Yeah, because
and the smile.
Veronica would do this first name basis. She would do this like she would open her eyes a little wide and then do a little tick.
Yes.
Damn.
Oh, so yeah, I need to be captivated. I want you to allow me to forget that there's nobody else in the room but just you and I. And that's how that bitch made me feel. Valentina, I haven't seen her live, but from watching from her videos, like I was trying, and I'm like, I thought she was gonna be this incredible. She's not.
Yeah, because she's done some
She's
pretty
gorgeous.
She's
but
done
she's
some
not.
really amazing songs. Like one thing that I get captivated in a show is like a song choice. And so if you get me with the song, and then the lip sync will keep me in. So she has done she's done a few Selena songs, and like I was at a Barbarella's Tuesdays one night, and it was a Selena night, and it was like dedicated to Selena. And I kid you not, like I never saw her, never went to one of the concerts, but the room was packed and they had her on TVs and it was her like last concert. She does like this little motion on the screen. I kid you not, when I looked up there, I felt like I was at that last concert and I almost started to cry.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it was just, there was something about some just energy in the air that like I like with Valentina, like you would think that with her doing a Selena song that I would be captivated, but she lost it. Like not even with a good song could she keep me like my eyes on her. I couldn't.
And Favy always says this: we need to stop rewarding mediocrity. And there's a lot of things that I'm not gonna reward Valentina no more just because she's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. Same.
So I think I'm done.
What about you?
Yo me quedo callado.
Okay.
No, dude.
No comment.
The fans of Valentina.
Look, I will say this, okay? I've been thinking about this a lot because I think about drag queens a lot. And my roommate is super into wrestling. And he got me into it. So I've been watching wrestling with him.
That way?
Okay, be quiet.
Wait, before he judges you,
Just
I'm
really
saying this
quick.
is safe space because I went to a convention and they do this cosplay wrestling.
Before he judges
and
you.
yeah, I was like, oh my God, I fell in love with wrestling when I was there because you have to believe that it's like you have to believe in the fantasy, and then when you do
It's
that,
drag.
you let it go.
It's drag.
Yeah.
So there's wrestlers that are better than others because they're so into the character, right? And but then I thought about wrestling versus drag or compared to drag, and there's villains in wrestling, and people love them. They're on Team Rudo, right? They're like they love the villains. And then I thought that in the context of RuPaul's Drag Race, that also exists on RuPaul's Drag Race, and the queens that are the most successful are the ones that embrace the villain persona. So if you think of people like Bianca Del Rio, like Ginger Minj, like Alaska, they have taken the villain and they've won. Like they are that character. And people love them for that. So the people that I have problems with are people like Tyra Sanchez, like Valentina, like
victims,
like Fifi O'Hara, that don't realize the power they have, that they can turn this villain character into gold, and have people wrapped around their persona, and really win them over. I think Valentina's realizing it. I think she's realized it, that she's a villain. And that she has the power, and that she's already fucking beautiful. But imagine if she actually played with that villain character. Like, oh my gosh, like talk about telenovela, right?
Yeah, I think one of the smartest queens to come out of RuPaul's Drag Race in terms of villain is Alaska. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? And
Brilliant.
I know
Yeah.
Valentina is all is Team Alaska. So hopefully Alaska's teaching her a thing or
Hopefully.
two. Or I shouldn't say that because that's kind of condescending to Valentina. But hopefully, she she just takes cues from like Bianca and Alaska. And even Sharon Needles was playing the victim. No, not the victim. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip. The villain for a while, but now she's kind of like a weird drug.
So I know this
person.
might be a hard question, but who is one of your favorite queens to come out of RuPaul's Drag Race?
Alyssa Edwards.
Yeah, why?
Yes.
That's a Texas queen, girl. What?
It's Alyssa
Why?
Edwards all the way. She can just like cough and I will die.
You like laugh?
Like,
oh my gosh, she just coughed.
we saw her in drug. I couldn't get it close. I'm like, nope, it's too much. It's too much. She
Really? Why?
Because I don't know.
Were you gonna get emotional and you were scared to get emotional?
I just think she's so amazing, and a lot of people don't get it. And it was Favy who's like, watch the opening of when she's warming the crowd for one of the crowning, one of the last episodes, the live episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race.
The finale.
The finale, yeah. Oh.
Are you guys gonna go
And
to the finale?
No.
probably
No?
not.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but
We
at
ain't
the-
fans like that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But at that moment, I was like, "That's it." And then I fell into the rabbit hole and watched hours and hours and hours of videos of her and her dance academy and like everything. And like the transition between makeup and with no makeup, it's almost blurred for me. And she's just this amazing person.
So you've never seen her live?
Perform, no.
You need to do it because you're gonna regret it if she dies.
Me voy a
Yeah.
zurrar.
So do it.
Truly.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. What about you?
My favorite, I have 3 favorites.
Oh, okay.
So Jujubee.
I love Jujubee.
I-
What you felt for the Veronica drag queen, that's her name, right?
Yes.
That's how I feel. That's the most. That's the feeling that Jujubee gives me every time she goes on stage. When
Have
she
you
lip
seen her
syncs.
live?
No.
Oh, bitch.
I haven't seen her either.
Let me tell you. So one of the first times I went to Boston, because that's where she's from, I just tweeted her and I said, Jujubee, I'm in Boston this weekend. Are you performing anywhere? And she said, yeah, I'm performing at Harvard. It's actually a private party, but I think just come. So I found her and I went to this party, and even her performing to all these like it was like a frat dude thing that they just like decided to have a drag queen that night just to be funny. She captivated everybody, and it was Jujubee is not only an amazing lip syncer, but her eyes, like she makes eye contact with every single person in the room until everybody is paying attention to her. And oh my God, that was so powerful.
Did you notice that while you were in your panel that that's something you have to learn, a certain confidence you have to do that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of respect to people who can master that skill to like make sure to connect with someone with their eyes on the stage.
Yeah.
She's fucking amazing. I can't wait to
Wow.
see her live.
Incredible. Jujubee, Katya. These are all Boston queens.
Yeah, Katya's also one of my
Katya,
favorites.
Fan.
I love her. And my third would be Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I've seen Alaska perform, it's been incredible. It's been hilarious. And then I've gotten the opportunity to meet her a few times. And even though I know she's being a character and says really stupid shit when you meet her, she's still really generous and like touches you and takes a photo with you and is nice, even though you can tell she's like over it, you know,
Yeah.
because she's so famous. But she's been really, she's great.
I like that in professionals, because there are certain people that like don't appreciate their fans, and if you don't appreciate your fans, then you're gonna become nothing eventually. So what would you do as a podcast? I didn't forget.
I will do those episodes of Latinos Who Lunch every single week. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Episodes?
We talk about
No,
it.
I said your own podcast by yourself.
Yeah. I will do that episode where we take something from pop culture and connect it into a historical moment.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's it. And even if it's just from Mexico, because
Give us a little sample of how they would go. Connect something from pop culture now into.
I will talk, like, this is one episode that we want to do, but just talk about soap operas and how rooted they are in the colonial period. Like, really get into it. It's like, this is how it worked in paper in the Inquisition, and this is how it works in Rosa Salvaje. And like that, there's just so many examples, because I've been trained to make those connections, because people are like, oh, why are you so obsessed with history or whatever? Because everything is connected to what's happening right now, and especially the 80s. 80s Mexican pop culture is a mirror to all of Mexican history. So I could spend 100 episodes just talking about Que Lucerito, Que Daniela Romo, or a song. I could spend an hour deconstructing La Secretaria, which is my favorite song by Daniela Romo. Like, by the lyrics, the class system, the gender issues in that song, and the gay rights, Miguel Bosé, and she's a lesbian. Like, oof, I can go for hours, but all of that connected into like a very precise historical context. That will be it. But that's, every episode will be a lot of fucking work, a lot of work. And that's, I mean, we try to do it in Latinos Who Lunch, and we've done it and successfully, but I would just do that all the time. But I mean, it can be boring too. So
You make it sound exciting. I was like, when does it come out? I want to see both of these podcasts.
I don't think it's the fact that it's boring, is that it takes a lot of work.
it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of research. Like,
It's
when
a
we do
lot of
those
work.
episodes, I actually have to read, which is oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much again for joining me. And I'll catch y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait. Before you go, can you do a little Babelito and Favy intro?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
What
let's
do you
do
mean?
it. Do your intro. I love listening to it.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Hi, this is Favy Fav.
And this is Babelito,
And we are
Latinos Who Lunch, the podcast where we talk about important things like...
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Oh my God. I was going to try to say one of your sayings, but I forgot what you said. Like, shit on your dick.